Hello, everyone. We are back with another episode in our Empowering Female Leaders in Holistic Health, Career, and Relationships. This week, I have with me Allison Smith. She is an identity and lifestyle coach who helps moms fill their cups with food, fitness, and fun so they can bring more energy, presence, and joy to their families without the overwhelm. She created the Joy Filled Mom, which is a membership for moms through all paths of motherhood who are done putting themselves on the back burner and are ready to experience the mom that they always thought they'd be. So, Allison, thank you for being here today and welcome to this episode.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to dive into more of what brought you here, what brought you to this Joy Filled Mom membership. Tell me all the things.
Okay, I am excited. I've actually been doing a lot of deep diving recently into my very long ago story and actually resharing that a lot. So if you have been following me, even on Instagram or whatever, you can kind of see this story, but it all started back when I was a newer mom. Um, it really wasn't until I had my second baby that I really saw the struggle. I think after I had my first, I had a lot of typical struggles, but it was nothing ever like crazy pressing that I felt like I needed to get out of it. I had enough support. Um, and it was just kind of stumbling my way through this new identity of who I was going to be as a mom. And then as I was kind of figuring it out, I got pregnant with my second. My daughter was about 18 months old when I got pregnant with my second. So she wasn't quite two yet when I had him, Avery, my middle. But that's really what kickstarted everything is, if I'm being really honest, I don't think I was ready. And this is like something that's really hard to admit. I don't think I was really ready for a second, but I always wanted my kids to be close in age. So I kind of made it happen anyways. Um, and I don't regret him for a second. He is the most beautiful kid in the world, and he's so unique, and I love him to death, and I'm so grateful for him. But when I look back on it, I don't know if I'm alone in this too, because I talk to so many moms that are like, yeah, I want my kids close in age. And then sometimes we just like do things without thinking about what it's actually going to feel like once it's here. And so that's where it just got so hard. It was so hard to have a very young toddler who wasn't quite two and a newborn. Um, and that's when the real struggle kicked in. He did not sleep. Oh my God, he did not sleep. Worst sleeper in the world. And then I had to go back to work. And I was a teacher at the time. I was a middle school teacher at the time. And so he was about 4 or 5 months old when I went back to work. I had figured out the summer. I had all this time off. I had all this support from my mom who lived a mile away. And I got through the summer like pretty well. Like we were surviving. It was good. And then I naively went into the school year thinking like it's going to be fine. I'll still, find some time for myself. It'll be fine. And it was not fine. Like I felt like I was drowning. Just trying to keep up with everything and a very draining job. Like teachers know it is so mentally and physically completely exhausting a job. And about a month or two in, my husband and we just started kind of bickering more, and he started bringing things to my attention like it just doesn't feel like you prioritize me. And I would get so mad and triggered like, what do you mean I don't prioritize you? Like you're in this family. I am grocery shopping and cooking and cleaning and doing all these things like you are in that. You're a priority. But when I really took a step back and looked at it, I was like, you know what? He's kind of right. Like our relationship, like our marriage hasn't been a priority if I'm really looking at it the way that he sees it. And so it was very confronting to have to address those things. But then once that got brought up, it got brought up where I was like, you know what? Not only am I not really happy in our marriage, but like I'm just not happy in general. And
Mm.
it got so deep and everything just kind of started flowing out of me. And I confessed to him that night. I was like, and you know what? I think I'm depressed. And I was like I am not okay. Um, And I started to realize like I just don't have time for myself anymore. I'm not moving my body. I've always been a really active person. I stopped moving my body. I stopped caring about what I was eating. I didn't have the time to think about, making all these nice meals that just like there was just no time. And he said something to me during that emotional dump. That I think was really the catalyst for a lot of change. And he said, I'm here to support you however you need, but I need you to know I can't do it for you. There's nothing I can
Mm,
do for you. And that's when I realized, like, this is on me. Like,
yeah.
no one can save me from this life that I'm creating that I don't like. I was like, I'm snapping at my kids all the time. They're 2 and 5 months old, like they don't know. Like, why am I so impatient with them? I'm snapping at them. I'm not the wife I want to be. This is not how I thought I'd be as a mom. Like, this is not how I thought this was going to go. And I remember exactly where I was standing that night, like the time where I was standing, where I was like, something's gonna change. It's up to me and I'm gonna make it happen. And I was like, I like somehow connected the dots that the biggest difference was that I had stopped moving my body and that in the past, because I've also just been like a person, I'd start and I'd stop and I'd start and I'd stop and I'd always just start back up after I started feeling too blah. And this is one of those moments where I was like, you always start feeling kind of gross when you stop moving for a period of time. Like maybe you should go exercise again. And I had tried exercising at night for a while. It was not working. I was way too exhausted. And so I decided to wake up early before school. I had to be out of my house by 6:50, like with the kids and stuff. So to work out in the morning was like a big deal. And I remember there would be teachers from time to time that would tell me, like, oh, I work out in the morning. And I'd look at them and be like, you're nuts. Who does, like, who does that? Because genuinely, I valued my sleep so much. And I like would wake up as late as I possibly could, get the things in, and get out the door. Like, that's who I was. That's how I identify. Like, that's what I would say to people all the time. But in that moment, I was like, you need to change. You need to change now in a big way, or this is going to get worse. And so I committed to waking up at 5, 3 mornings a week. And I was like, you know what? Just give it 6 months. Just give it till Christmas. If you're miserable and you hate it, then like we'll figure out something else. But like give yourself till Christmas. And so I set myself that time limit. I mean, waking up was miserable. Like I didn't like it, but it was that like loop that played through my head every morning that alarm went off that was like, but oh yeah, if you do this, you're going to stay depressed. Get up. I don't know if I
You
can
can.
swear on your
Yes, you
podcast.
can. Yes, you can. Say whatever's on your mind.
I literally have it still because 5 years later, I still don't love waking up early, and now I can do whatever I want with my schedule, but it's just a game changer to start my day that way. But literally my alarm still says get the fuck up.
I love that. I love that.
So
One
I
of,
like it.
one of the biggest things, and I'll say this because my girls are a year apart.
Yeah.
Soon as I had one, boom, got pregnant with the next one. It was like, what am I doing? Why? It was never the plan for the first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and because I wanted time, like my husband at the time when I was married, like me and my husband had only been together less than 6 months. And then boom, here you go. Here's a present. It's like,
Wow.
oh shit. And I had no clue what life was about to be because I had always pictured myself as a mom, but I never pictured being in that space. Like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. That's what I kept going through. But I'm with you and I can totally relate. There's so many of our audience who can relate as well because motherhood changes the game for everything. You are no longer important. Or
Yeah.
so we think. So society has told us. So the plays have been of watching, all these other generations sacrifice everything to take care of the home. And unfortunately, with where we are in society, we're kind of like a two-person income kind of household type thing now. So having to go through and push and shove and all the weight that, and I mean weight, which
Yeah.
does affect weight, but all the weight that we carry as moms. Did I grab everything for my kids? Did I make sure that I had this? Did they have an extra pair of clothes? Did they have shoes? What happened to your sock? And then we're managing meltdowns and all the things. So I totally understand being in that space and dealing with you haven't even had time to figure out who you are in this new mess or new direction. Let's not even call it mess. But it feels like it, especially when you're battling the postpartum anxiety or the postpartum depression. Those things just weigh so heavy on you.
Yeah.
And I think there's just so many I hear so often because you know that I did similar work to you. So I would constantly hear, well, I'll take care of myself after this.
Right.
Well, then this comes, now something else is there.
Always.
And just like you're saying here, there was never a perfect time. It's just get the fuck up, set the alarm, get the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. There is never a perfect time. And I think that so then through all of that, I realized it's so possible to do whatever you think you can't. I never in a million years would have saw myself as a morning workout girl. Never in a million years. I identified myself as the opposite. And this entire process, and I want to be so clear too with people that I work with, you know, you have to give it time and you have to give yourself grace because it started with that 2 or 3 day a week, you know, morning workout and grew into this full blown multi-step morning routine that I love and I cherish. But it's like my 8 step morning routine didn't come first. That
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
years to build. And I just kept building off of what felt good. And so that's how I came to work with women that I do, because as I continue to teach, you know, I didn't start those habits for weight loss. I didn't start those habits to look better. I started them literally only because of my mental health. And in that, I actually ended up in the best shape of my life, even before kids. And it was because I took all of these steps to just feel good on the inside. And that resulted in feeling my best on the outside. But again, it took multiple years, and people don't always want to hear that. It takes time, but it
Yeah.
takes time because it is the really simple, small, basic things built up over time that actually work.
Yeah. To make it more sustainable.
Exactly, because we want it to be. And here I stand over 5 years later, and I haven't missed a day of doing something for myself. And that's been through miscarriages that I've had, and pregnancies, and postpartums, and really hard days. But every single day, something. Maybe it's not a full, doesn't have to be a full blown workout, doesn't even have to be a full blown walk. It could be whatever. Something is done for myself to remind me that I can't be on the back burner
Yeah.
so that I can fill my cup and pour what I want to pour into my family.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying here because just like, you know, even in your bio, your methodology is around food, fitness, and fun. And I think a lot of times that fun part is where we pull that out. It's punishment. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if we're sitting here counting calories and we're tracking all these things, like, sure, things become a number and whatever the case is, but we've removed the fun too.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck
Yeah.
in weight loss or in health or anything of that nature because the fun's removed. Now,
Mm-hmm.
yay, I hit the goal, or yay, I did this, or hey, life is hard. This is no longer fun. So I'm curious, having been consistent for 5 years, what part of fun did you keep in?
So I'm so glad you asked that, because that's something I've been reflecting on the most is like, why do you put fun in there? Like that's kind of weird. My previous focus, I used to just say mindset. Um, but what I'm recognizing is actually the mindset piece that makes these things stick is making it fun. You know, I genuinely, do I look forward to dragging my ass out of bed at whatever time in the morning it is now? No, that part's not fun. But it's the only part that's not fun because I look forward to my morning peace, my morning quiet, my morning workout, my morning routine. I look forward to that. My morning routine is fun for me. It's fun. I've made it fun. If I were trying to get out of bed to go do something that I hated every day, it wouldn't be fun. Of course I'm not going to get out of bed for that. I want to get out of bed because I have fun in the morning. I want to prep my meals because I make it fun. And it's not in some like crazy, like, let's make this a game, type way, but it's,
No, but I hear what you're saying is like you're interchanging the word just like your joy-filled mom.
yeah.
It's you're interchanging the word from fun and joy.
Mm-hmm.
What feels joyful? Because whatever's going to feel joyful is going to be fun. It's going to bring you peace. It's going to bring you harmony. It's going to bring you so much more joy that fills your cup up.
Yeah.
And that's what I keep hearing when you say fun, because sure, I could be in the audience being like, fitness is not fun.
Right.
Food prepping is not fun. Kids running around the house and all these things, not fun. But if I'm choosing it from joy,
Yeah.
if I'm focusing on what is bringing me joy, maybe not all the workouts bring me joy. I
Mm-hmm.
can't work out like I used to. Like I was a bodybuilder. And so I'm used to go hard, go strong. Bruh, my body in perimenopause does not love me at this current moment. So I'm finding ways of how can I love you differently? And it's changing. It's slowing the pace. It's shifting the, routine up a little bit. And it's still, I used to be joy because I used to love picking up heavy things and putting it back down.
Yeah.
We're not in the joy of playing around, but I'm moving. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
focusing on functionality. I'm focusing on what is providing purpose because I'm not going in here just to lift a weight and do a little bit of shoulder exercises, get the heck out. I'm still focusing on what is bringing me in that function. And what is that function? Is it aesthetics? Is it appearance? Is it whatever it is?
Mm-hmm.
And it's also me being able to have the energy because I know that provides me energy to go hang out with my kids.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's just it. Sometimes the joy isn't in the task itself. Sometimes the joy is in how you know it's going to make you feel. Same
Yeah.
thing. I hate sitting down to make a grocery list and be like, what are we gonna eat this week? Oh my gosh, if I have to ask that question one more time. Like, no, that's like not the fun of it.
Yeah.
But you know what is fun? Going into the grocery store and not having that thought process while I've got a toddler screaming at me from the basket and people bumping into me in the store. I have my list in front of me because I already did this.
Yeah.
So that's what brings me joy is being able to move through the grocery store with a purpose and confidence and do what I need to do. Like that makes shopping more fun. So I do the not fun thing so that I can go have more fun like when that time comes. And then because I've planned and I've prepped and I bought all the food, I have more fun during meal times because I'm not standing around for 30 minutes going, what are we going to eat today? Every day of the week. Because we know.
Yeah.
And so that lets me have more fun with my kids because it's like, I don't even have to think about it. Look, it's on the calendar. This is what we're eating. Boom, done. Nobody has to ask me a single question or change it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fun. I can have more fun with my family while I'm prepping dinner because of that, because I'm in a better state. I can be more present with them because my mind isn't on, do I have to go to the store? Do we have what we need? What do you want to cook? Oh, you don't want that? Like we're not doing that.
Okay, so that brings me to another question that you don't want that. We got kids that are picky eaters.
Oh yeah.
Like, what do you do for your clients whenever they come in the space for you and they're like, grocery shopping is not fun, cooking is not fun, it's a major meltdown every single day.
Mhm.
How do we bring, and let's interchange the words, how do we bring in more fun and joy into that?
Yeah. I always say get your kids on board. Get
Okay.
them in the conversation, get them talking about food with you because it is. And I still, my family, we still have these conversations. My kids are like, they've got their specific favorites. We all have our, things that they don't love, whatever. And every week, if I ask them what they want, it'd be pizza and my daughter's favorite soup and my son's favorite soup and, whatever. I'm like, it's the middle of summer. We're not having soup. But it's that conversation. Literally, we just had this one the other day where I was like, soup is really great for a nice chilly, maybe rainy day. Like next time the weather starts taking a dip, we'll put your soup back in the rotation. And I find my 7-year-old being like, "Yeah, you know what? It is really nice on a cold day. I don't really want soup when I'm hot." And like just having these conversations, even no matter how young they are. And not only that, like my kids would eat pizza every day if we let them, right? And we have the conversation like, "Yeah, pizza's great, but how do you think you'd feel if you ate pizza every single day?"
Yeah.
Probably not great. Like, do you notice that when you eat veggies, you feel this way? And we have conversations too. Like, we know that carrots are great for your eyesight, and we know that, watermelon is great for hydration, and we need to stay hydrated. We talk about drinking water and how our bodies need all these things. So, like, we talk about it in as much of a kid way, but also in as much of a very real way as we can. And I've also this is a battle I've had with my husband, God bless him, but I he even over the weekend just kept feeding her treats. We were at a party, 4th of July party, and he's like handing her popsicle after popsicle after popsicle, and I'm like, "Are you joking?" And he's like, "What? She's fine. It's mostly water." I'm like,
With sugar.
God. And then the poor girl, her stomach hurt really bad like 2 hours later. And I was like, "Do you know why?" She's like, "I had too many sweets." And I was like, "Why'd you do that?" "It was Dad's fault. He kept giving it to me." And I
Blame
said,
shifting.
"Okay, but did you have to say yes?" So it kind of stinks, and I hate seeing her in pain, and I wanted to beat my husband up, but at the same time, it's kind of like a nice little mini lesson for her.
Yeah.
You don't always have to say yes. Listen to your body. So we talk about listening to your body all the time as well. And so it's a compound of all those conversations that I make my kids have with me.
Well, and I love that because my middle child one day was like, "I'm going to eat some ice cream." Now, cool. We do ice cream maybe twice a week for them. I'm good with once. And that is one of my favorites. Like, I don't know if you know those. I call them tortellinis. That's not what it is. That's a noodle or whatever. That's
Yeah.
Italian,
Yeah.
but I can never get the name. I'm just like the tortellini thing because that's what comes out. But it's a gelato and it's got mixed layers and salted caramel, man. It's a clear container,
Ooh.
whatever. It's my favorite.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it looks like it says tortellini. I got you.
it
Okay.
does. It's a
Those are
tea
great.
something, whatever. Anyway, it's a gelato. And that is my newfound obsession. So, like, I eat a small, like, one thing of ice cream could last me probably 4 times of eating it. Like, just eat a quarter out of it.
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
the person to sit there and eat a pint. I've
Yeah.
never been that person. But my middle child, if you're not watching,
Hmm.
girlfriend can sit locked in, loaded to a TV and just keep shoving her face.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I decided to empower my girls because I
Hmm.
did that one time with my son and he ate the entire freaking pint. Now, my son is the youngest. He was 4 at the time.
Hmm.
He woke up 3 times in the middle of the night throwing up and diarrhea and everything else. I'm like, "Bud, have we learned a lesson? We will not do this because mommy's learned a lesson. She's
Yeah,
tired."
right. It's a lesson for both of us. Yeah.
Well, I didn't give it to him. He sat there playing a game and just, I thought somebody else was handling the situation.
Yes, yes, yes.
Clearly not.
We've all been there.
Yeah. So my daughter did the same thing and she goes, "I didn't eat it all. Most of it melted." Baby girl, let me tell you what just a few little drops of melt is. You don't eat the rest, some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And so I had to tell her, like, "How do you feel the next day?" Because you're tired, you're grumpy, it's not good attitude. And so I love that you do that with yours and you promote that for your clients because that's the same thing that I do with my kids. Like, let's have a conversation. What's health? And I ask them, I do empower my kids when we go to parties, when we go to friends' houses. Do you feel that this is going to be the best decision given that you just ate this? And that is, I leave that up to you in that yes or that no. You're either going to say, "No, this is not a good decision. I'm going to make a change,"
Mhm.
or you're going to make a poor decision. And then
Mhm.
you're going to learn, shit, probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. And it got to the point too. My husband told me he was home with her and I was out doing something and he gave her the option. He was like, "Well, you can stay upstairs and you can play in your room or you can come downstairs where I'm going to be working and play in your dollhouse or whatever." And she's 7 and voluntarily she said, "I'm going to come play downstairs because I know if I stay upstairs, I'm going to sneak candy. I'm going to come down."
Wow.
And I'm like, "We're doing something." Right.
Box
Something.
checked.
Does they
Motherhood.
checked all the time? No, but like just for her to have that wherewithal, because that's something else I teach my clients too is environment. Like set your environment up for success. You know, it's going to be way harder to stick to your habits if you have junk food all in your house and sweets and all of these other things, right? So getting your family on board, because I had a client once who sat there in our welcome call. She's like, "I can't get rid of that stuff. You know, my house is kind of the party house. My kids have people all over all the time. I just have to have snacks." And I said, "Well, what if the snacks that you offered all the friends weren't just chips and pretzels, but if you had other things instead?" She's like, "Well, yeah, maybe I could try that." And she did. And within a couple weeks, the kids were on board too because she found good alternatives, things that are better choices that people still like, and got rid of all the junk food in her house,
Yeah.
set her environment up for success, got her family on board, talked about it. And, you know, talking about the meals that you like and talking about, like, well, this meal might not be your favorite, but it's my favorite. I get to make your favorites. Can I make mine too? You eat it. You don't hate it. You'll eat it. So we talk about, like, you know, we're making daddy's favorite or one of mommy's favorites. We'll make one of your favorites like another time, you know? And so we cycle through all our favorites and we have conversations about making sure everybody feels happy and satisfied at some point, you know, in the
Yeah. Yeah.
week or month or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I have a thing with my kids that I tell them, eat what you want, don't eat what you don't want.
Mhm.
Like you're never forced to finish a plate.
Right.
I never want you to overeat. If you're done, you're done. But
Yeah.
we're not just going to cut it short just because we want ice cream or something sweet after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I will ask my girls because my girls are the worst at it. Now my oldest, you can tell she's 9. She's almost 9. So you can tell when she's going through a growth spurt. That girl
Mhm.
can eat me out of house and home. Like, how many plates did you say you wanted? And she'll come back for, can I have more rice? Like our standard is chicken, rice, and veggies, and a whole conglomerate of veggies.
Mhm.
And can I have more? Okay, can you have more? What?
Yeah.
I really don't want more chicken. Good idea. That's macro. I would like more rice. Can we eat some rice and more veggies?
Mhm.
Okay, deal. I think you need more micronutrients. And so getting them on board with understanding what's our bigger, our bigger things versus our smaller things and where do they pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
But I never make my kids eat something that they don't like. Try it once.
Right.
It's totally fine if your palate hates it at that point. But we're not going to make faces. We're not going to judge other people for what they like. But
Yeah.
we're going to sit at this table and eat what you want, don't eat what you don't want.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a big difference too of liking something, but liking something more. And that's
Yeah.
a conversation I've had too. Like, I understand that you like the noodles more. That doesn't mean you hate the broccoli. You still like it, but you'd rather have noodles. And like, I get that. But the broccoli is better for you because you're going to put more nutrients in your body. And that's literally a conversation we've had before of like, these noodles have these kind of nutrients. It's great for energy, but it's not great for a lot of other things like the veggies are great for. And so
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Like we had spaghetti and meatballs last night and like, "Can I have more noodles? Can I have more noodles?" I'm like, "You're going to need another meatball first. This is your protein. You need
Yep.
protein."
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
knows what protein is.
I do. And I do the same thing with my kids. Like, where can we settle down the carbs? Now, do I believe that kids probably need more carbs? Heck yes, because their energy, I don't have that. I can't even gain it from you in some way, shape. I'm going to need a nap. But at the same time, I'm watching them and I'm like, you guys are burning off anything and everything. So, like, sure, I can give you a little bit more carbs. And we try to do, now I follow the hand rules.
Mhm.
I think my kids could eat my hands worth of food. I don't know
My
where they fit
10-year-old
it.
can put down my husband's hand worth of food. Like, where is this going? You're one. Oh my gosh.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't understand where
Yeah.
it's fitting in your butt, but okay if we're using it.
Yeah.
And it's just making sure that they even understand like, hey, there's balance with things. We're not chasing chips and snacks and all these things. Like, are you hungry or you just need a snack to hold you over?
Oh yeah. And that's another huge thing because especially it being summer, my kids are home all the time. The amount of times that I hear I'm hungry is crazy. And so we do have that conversation. Are you hungry or are you bored? If you're hungry now, it's sometimes I use it as a learning lesson. Like we switched up lunch today. I wanted you to have a turkey sandwich instead of peanut butter and jelly, and you didn't like it as much. You didn't finish it, and I cleaned it up. You're gonna have to wait till the next time that we're doing snacks. I'm not getting you like lesson learned. I'm not letting you just go to the pantry and pull out a snack every, hour because you're bored. And so having those conversations has been really huge too. And I just, I think that's how I grew up a little bit is my mom just wouldn't let us just go grab snacks out of the pantry all the time. And she always made sure that we were balancing our plates and having the veggies and having the, stuff with all the things. And I think because I grew up that way, it helped for those things to be such second nature for me and to
Yeah.
manage how much I was snacking. And so just going back to like, you know, why this is such a passion for me is because I truly believe kids are going to do what we do far more than what we say.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so if we can model these things for them and we're not, because, that's the biggest struggle of a lot of my clients is just snacking and feeling like they just want to kind of graze all day and pick up snacks all day. And so it's like, well, what are we modeling for our kids? What are you grabbing for breakfast in the morning? Are you reaching for cereal that doesn't have a lot of nutritional value, or are you making the time to make like eggs and, whatever has like proteins in it and stuff, right? What are we modeling for them now so that as
Yeah.
they get older, they can just also, it can just be a second nature thing for them. And they don't have to get to that point where they're thinking, why am I so low on energy? Why is my body doing this to me? Why is my whatever? I want that for our next generation to just have this second nature of habits ingrained because we all started to understand it a little bit better.
Yeah. And I love that. And you know that I do trauma healing. So when I hear snacking, I'm like, is it that you need intimacy? Do you need connection? What is
Right.
the emotional root cause that is causing you to eat these things?
Yeah. Right.
Like that goes into because I watch my kids do the same thing. And I can tell when my kids have had like harder days with friends and things like that. We're more snacky when we come home. Hey, tell me a little bit more what happened. What
Yeah.
happened at school today? So just having even those conversations around food can make more awareness too. And that's what I bring in to my kids. And, even whenever my clients come in, like it's be sure to ask those questions. So
Yeah.
you got to know where they're coming from. Another point that you made, so fitness, let's get into this for just a few seconds.
Yeah.
Well, Allison, I don't really like moving my body. I don't like working out. What would you say to that?
I honestly don't hear that a lot. I hear that weightlifting is intimidating, and we're hearing all over the, social
Okay.
media, internet, all the things that like you should be weightlifting as a woman now, right? So I'll hear if they're a little bit in your boat where like it doesn't feel as good anymore, like what should we do? Or if you're just really intimidated, you have no idea where to start, like what should you even pick up, things like that. I hear that a lot. Um, Honestly, most of the things that I hear from women are, I know I feel better when I move my body. I
Yeah.
don't know why I can't make myself do it.
Yeah.
Um, and that right there is what we were kind of talking about, I think, before we started recording a little bit, is that identity piece. Is do you see yourself as someone who just moves your body in some way, shape, or form? And that kind of goes into also how do you view movement? Do you view it as punishment? Do you
Hmm.
view it as something that just naturally happens in your day? Do you not view the movement you're already doing as movement? Because sometimes we are on our feet doing like chasing toddlers around, doing all these kinds of things. And then we'll be like, but that doesn't count. Why not? Of course it
It's
counts.
energy. You're
Yeah,
expending it.
it counts, right? So I always have people like, let's dive deep into like what you're already doing. Like, truly, how much are you already moving your body? I don't love relying on like tracking a whole ton of numbers. I think they're amazing tools. So I do encourage people like genuinely track your steps for like a few weeks.
Okay.
Get a good average. Tracking your food, another amazing tool. But, sticking with the fitness, like genuinely see how many steps you're getting per day because some people are shocked, honestly, both ways. Some people will be like, "Oh my gosh, wow, I'm only getting like 2,000 steps a day." And that's where I'm going to be like, that needs to up, 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 up. And that alone, no other exercise needed. If you are intimidated, just find ways to increase your step count
Okay.
if it's, in the 2, 3,000 range. Um, and then we can start talking about, exercise and things like that. Because it does. That's one of the things that I've even noticed for myself is there are weeks where, I'm on calls all day and I'll stay in the 2, 3, maybe 4,
Yeah.
8,000 step range for the day. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, I decide to be much more intentional with it the next week.
Okay.
And then I'll get up to 7, maybe even 8, 9, 10,000 steps per day. And the immediate effects of my brain clarity, the way that I feel in my clothes, the what shows up on the scale from
Yeah.
1 week of increasing steps, just by a few thousand steps per day, is unreal. So when I say you cannot underestimate the power of steps, like when you think about movement, just know like steps are movement. And
Yep.
steps include the steps that you took from the dryer to the couch, from the dishwasher to the cabinet, from, your desk to the bathroom. Like all of those steps count. So how can you just do a little bit more of what you're doing? Like I'll always say if you're looking for just creative ways, make the chores that you're doing slightly more inconvenient. Don't put all the clothes away at once. Don't put all the dishes away at once.
Oh,
You know,
done.
do go the long way to the bathroom.
I've done that before. I've done
Yeah,
that. So I'm sitting here when I'm like, oh my God, my butt is hurting. I'm like, I'm going the long way. I'm going to
yep,
the other bathroom.
yep, exactly. So it's, you can get creative. It doesn't need to mean like you're throwing your weighted vest on and gearing up for a
Yeah.
30-minute long walk. There are in betweens, and that's another one of the biggest mindset pieces that we talk about is getting rid of that all or nothing, right? Like something is always better than nothing. What can you do today, even if it's 5 minutes?
And how do you see yourself in consistency? I think is another key thing, just like you're saying here, because
Yeah.
seasons do change.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see myself as a bodybuilder anymore. I mean,
Mhm.
I will never forget the day that I told my coach I throw in the towel, and my now partner, he at the time, he was like, "What are you doing? No, 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 no. You're just having an off day. Your brain's just like you've been doing this for years. What do you mean?" And I was like, if I've gotten to this point, I've sat down with all the P's and Q's and all the things. And so this is me just vocalizing, I'm gonna pause. I mean, it
Mhm.
may not be forever. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm now getting to the point where, okay, this will be my year for masters. And I've had many people, are you going to do another show? Are you going to do another show? Are you going to do another? No. Nope. I am enjoying my freedom on the side. And I'm also, when we talk about identity,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't identify as a bodybuilder anymore. Kudos to all those who do. I'm not in that space anymore. And where do I see myself in movement? That has been a huge change in the past couple of years because I did it for 10 years. So, like, what is movement? What is my identity? What is my body? What is this? And it has shifted a lot of things. So, I love that you cover the identity piece because I think that is something that we think motherhood, we have this idea picture. Not every day is sunshine and rainbows.
Mm-mm.
So, how do we move through the seasons? How do we, if you've, every season is a different season and it might require some change of routine, but
Oh,
find your rhythm.
100%. And that's one of the biggest things I coach on. And that's why I always tell women, give yourself a year. Be just for the pure fact of you need to know what it feels like in every season.
Yep.
Like literal seasons, like fall, summer, winter, like literally the season. And I actually want to point out something too that I think is so important is that sometimes identity can truly come down to a singular, very powerful decision that you make. You identified yourself as a bodybuilder for so long. That was, I am a bodybuilder. That is who I am. But with a lot of thought and with a lot of emotion, one day you said, I'm not a bodybuilder anymore.
Hmm.
And you changed your identity in a single decision.
Hmm.
But you still had to be very intentional with the rest of your decisions thereafter.
Yep.
But saying, like, even if I feel pulled towards making certain choices, I'm going to choose differently because I decided I'm not this anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the primary the way that I coach identity with my membership members is we let a really strong decision guide us, the decision of who we want to be, and we allow that huge decision to help us make all of the other tiny choices and decisions that follow after. But it
Yeah.
really does sometimes just come down to that one big decision.
It does.
And that is the guiding force that helps you get through all seasons. And to me, truly every season looks different. You know, if you're I don't wherever you live here in Ohio, we do have very distinct seasons, right? And in the summer, it's my favorite. The sun is up by 5:30 in the morning. It doesn't set until 9. My opportunities are far greater because of that. I can go for a morning walk if I want to at 6 a.m. Getting out of bed is easier because the sunlight is shining in my eyes. I can go for a walk after my kids are in bed at 8 p.m. if I want to. The opportunities are so different in the summer versus the winter, where the sun does not rise until 8 a.m.
Hmm.
Depressing, and it sets at 5 p.m. So there is no after dinner walk outside. There is no after breakfast walk outside. Just for the daylight alone. Getting out of bed is so much harder in the winter because there is no sunlight in your eyes for hours after you wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard. And so I always tell people, my genuinely, I talked about how my morning routine brings me joy. In the summer, it brings me joy because there's sunlight and I make different choices in the morning. I structure my winter morning routine in a totally different way that will bring me joy. Summer, fresh air, light, airy, breezy vibes. How are we making these choices? Winter, we are going to go downstairs, flip on the fireplace, drag our weights out by the fireplace, mood the lights. Like we create the space that allows us to feel joy, that allows us to get up out of bed, even though it's so hard in the morning. And so that's what I will just say. You're going to have seasons where you're going to have to tweak and adjust your routine so that it brings you joy because it's not going to fit in every season. And
Right.
it's going to require giving grace. My steps are lower in the winter. That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. Your body's going to adapt. They'll pick back up in the summer. I mean, I do swear by my walking pad because without it, it would be like none some days. And I have to be intentional, but I know that it makes me feel better. So that's why
Yeah.
the investment in the walking pad was worth it. And I love that it gets me moving because again, that movement releases the dopamine, the happy hormones in your brain. It is a game changer. And so some mornings it's just literally getting out of bed and reading on my walking pad with the
Yeah.
place going in the background. So, how can you bring yourself joy in each different season and make your routine look different and know that it's okay that your routine will look different? I have an 8-step routine in the summer, I have a 3-step routine in the winter.
Yeah.
What are the non-negotiables that you know have to come with you into every season? And what are the nice little add-ons?
Yeah. I love that. Love that. Thank you for sharing that tip.
Of course.
All
I'm
right.
full.
Yeah. So, real quick before we go, tell everybody where they can find you, how they can get connected to you, and if you have a freebie that you want to share, go ahead and discuss
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah, of course. So everything is kind of being restructured a little bit in my business. You can absolutely still find me, Allison Hallie Fitness on Instagram. I'm at Allison Hallie on Facebook. And then you can also find me at AllisonHallieFitness.com. Website's under construction a little bit as we kind of do a little bit of a rebrand and head in this direction of this membership that I am so excited about. Actually, the membership hasn't fully launched yet.
As
If
of this recording.
As of this recording on July 7th of 2026. So if you're listening to this far in the future, then I encourage you to check out the website, because that is where you can always join either a wait list for the membership, because it is not constantly open. I start women in cohorts so that we can make sure everybody gets the support that they need in the way that they need it. So yeah, check us out on the website. There, again, I'm planning on putting a couple freebies on the website. I do also have my own podcast where I talk all about these tips and
Okay.
things like that. It's called
Yeah.
Be Consistent. And you can find that on Apple, Spotify. So yeah, and YouTube.
Okay, perfect. We'll add that in the description. So you guys go check it out. Other than that, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for the connection, and we will catch you guys on the flip side.